as a small business owner, you can't hire like these bigger companies hire. You know what I mean? My name is Wong. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist. And over 10 years ago, I started my therapy clinic. And over 5 years ago, I started Hand Therapy Secrets, which is just my online platform where I have courses and trainings and things like that to help therapists develop more choices in their career. So, as a small therapy clinic, I'm always looking to hire. I've got front desk manager, marketing assistant, and of course, most importantly, therapists. And so, one of the things that I see a lot of times are people asking about hiring. Now, when I first got started, some therapy friends of mine would be like, "Oh, you just ask your friends, like, hey, do you know somebody?" Unfortunately, it's not consistent enough. Oh my God, I have this like sticker that's on here. Let me take that off. So, sorry, I got distracted. But they would just say, hey, yeah, just ask your therapy friends. And so, my friend who has her own therapy clinic, she was like, well, I always got my coverage, my per diems, from just knowing the therapists in the community and asking them to, come cover for me when I was out of town. That only works if you're one, well connected with the community, and two, they want to freaking work for you covering here and there. So I live in Miami, and everyone I knew that was more closely knit was in Fort Lauderdale, and all the therapists there who does any kind of coverage weren't willing to drive over an hour to come cover at my clinic. So I had to figure out something else. And then the people that I knew in Miami, nobody was looking to do any kind of coverage, right? So the people who were willing to do any kind of coverage didn't have any skills, which was such a problem for me because I was treating like complex cases, wound care, splint needs, things like that. And if the therapist didn't have those skills that I needed, it was really hard to find coverage. And then, so that's a therapist position. And then the front desk position was like, oh yeah, well, I hired my best friend. So one therapist, she hired her best friend. Well, my best friend, no one I knew wanted to work for me, right? I don't know if that speaks ill of me, but whatever. They all had jobs. They weren't looking for this part-time gig, They weren't looking for minimum wage, which was what I could offer at that time. One had her family working for her. My parents have their own business and they barely speak English and they don't speak Spanish, and I need someone who's bilingual. So, I used to try to run my ads the way like the big companies would run their ads. They would just post it in like a gazillion places and just let them run, right? Because they had a whole HR team following up with them. I didn't have that. I don't have that. And I'm assuming if you own your own small therapy clinic, you don't have that either. So we as small therapy business owners, we just have to do our hiring just a little bit differently in order to find the people who we're looking for. So what I did before when I first started was I would post an ad. And I would put money behind it, right? So I would go on, was it Indeed, and put a little bit of money behind it. Here's the thing where I feel like I went wrong. My posting was very generic and it didn't have everything I was looking for, partly because I didn't know what I was looking for. So I'm like, front desk, I don't know, front desk admin, take phone calls, make phone calls, schedule people out. And it attracted so many of the wrong people to come calling. And I used to waste so much time because I used to look through these people's resumes as if they gave a shit to work for my clinic. And I would call them and then I would be like, oh, I'm calling you because you think you have a job that they want. No, bitch, they don't want your stank ass job, right? They'd be like, who, where is this place? And I would tell them, they're like, oh no, I don't want that, it's too far, click. I mean, that was the people I was drawing in, right? That was the people I was drawing in. So big companies do that, but you're a small company. I'm a small company. I don't have that kind of time to waste, right? I don't have that kind of money that I want to waste. So what do you need to do? There's two things that I've done in the last 10 years that has really helped me. First of all, first and foremost, Please start the hiring process before you're desperate. I can't tell you, the minute you start feeling desperate, you don't make the best decisions, right? So the minute you start feeling really desperate, like, oh my God, I have to have this person, I have to need this person, then what happens? You end up getting in bed with the wrong person, don't you? Right? You end up wasting a lot of time, wasting a lot of money, and they still not doing the job you need them to do. Am I still talking about this job offer? Anyway, so don't be desperate. You want to, so that's one concept to consider. The other concept to consider is like plan to hire fast but fire faster. So I used to waste so much time and energy giving to people who weren't in the right position, not because they weren't good people, it's just they couldn't do the job I needed them to do. But also I didn't want to be the bad guy, right? I didn't want to be the one that fired people, and I didn't want them to think ill of me, you know? I didn't want them to think that I am doing something wrong. But truth be told, you waste a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of energy when you keep the wrong people on your team. So that's the second concept I want to, bring to your attention. It's just like, think about, hiring fast, firing faster. So, pretty much if within 2 weeks, like it's not looking like it's working out, we're going to have to break up, right? I'm very respectful for it, but I tell them ahead of time so it's not a surprise. So I always tell my staff, if you ever get fired from me, you shouldn't be surprised it's coming, right? So and it's not just be me, it's just also give them an opportunity to find something else that they really could be successful with, right? So there's two parts to hiring. You have an organic part, and then you have the paid part. Now just know that you have to pay. Like, dear Lord, sometimes I see these posts in these Facebook groups, y'all people business owners, and you don't want to freaking pay for shit. It takes money to make money, and you don't just be like, oh, like I don't want to pay for shit and then just make all this money and it's for you. There's a cost to doing business, and one of those costs is spending for ads to hire the right people onto your team. So from a paid perspective, I write my ads very specifically. I have a very good process that I set everything up through so that it goes through the system and processes, so I don't have to waste a lot of my time. There's a lot of automation to it. With a personal touch point, I go into a lot of detail inside my OT Business Corner program with it to help you with that. So get specific, create that systems and process, but yeah, consider having to pay for it. So what I have found that has worked for me is Indeed has really worked for me from all of my positions: front desk position, manager position, marketing assistant position, and therapy position. I have also tried other online job platforms. I've used LinkedIn. LinkedIn is extremely expensive, but it can be really good depending on the kind of position that you're looking to hire for. To be honest, it did not really help me for my OT positions. It helped me with my marketing assistant position, but I think some people find it, like if you're looking at a higher level position, like maybe a manager position, that could be really good. There's other platforms you can use. I can just only share with you the one that I use because I can share about that. Like, I know about that. Indeed has always worked for me, and I like using it. It's really simple. So it is expensive. You could spend, you could spend up to like $500 a month just like posting for ads, to hire for your position. So yeah, just consider, it's going to cost you a little bit of money in order to find the right person. But when you find the right person, they'll help you make money too, so that you'll be able to recoup that cost. And it's okay to make mistakes. I've made so many hiring mistakes, which is, I think, what has built my confidence, and it's built my skills around hiring. So now I hire faster, fire faster, and waste less time and money. So, and I've paid for my coaching programs to help me to figure all that stuff out. And So yeah, you can either figure it out on your own, or get into a program that's going to be help you do that, right? So that's a paid perspective. From an organic perspective, the same ads that you take, you can also post organically. You don't have to necessarily be as detailed, but organically you can post it. You can have that on your website, so you're constantly hiring all the time. And then I think that's really important to be very consistent on social media. So from a therapy perspective, I've been very consistent on posting on social media for the last over 8 years. So my first 2 years in business, I was like posting here and there, posting whenever I felt like it, posting when I had a lot of shit, and it just doesn't work. You have to be really consistent when it comes to social media, and you should really take a lot of time to use those social media platforms, because it's free. It's free to use. It's just time consuming. So you have to develop like a system and process so that it could take less of your time, but it works really well. So just get really consistent, even if you can't do it all the time. So I post like probably twice a day, every day, on my program site, and once a day on my clinic site. But I post constantly, and I post across my platforms. But having that consistency has really attracted the right people into my business, especially therapists, because therapists look at other therapists and seeing like, oh, how can I learn from them? What are they doing? And so if they like what you're putting out, they're more likely to be gravitated to work with you. You know, like, oh, if I want to get into hand therapy, who would I want to work with? Who do I think will mentor me? Well, if they look at myself, they know I'm going to mentor them. So I'm just attracting someone who's strong-willed, you know, who has the ability to think and wants to think better. I have high standards. I have high standards for myself. I don't have high standards for other people. I have high standards for myself. But because I have high standards for myself and they have high standards for themselves, they want to be in the same room with someone who has high standards so they can improve, right? So by me organically, posting on social media, I'm able to attract the right people into my business. From a therapist perspective, actually, my new admin has been really great because she wants to be a therapist too. She says she wants to be a physical therapist. I'm not going to hold it against her. She can be a physical therapist if she wants to be. But hopefully she'll be a really great physical therapist one day, because she's been working in my clinic and she knows she's learning so much, and she's got a really great attitude. My how do you call it? My manager, she's attracted, like she started seeing some of my stuff on social media. So when they go and they interview for you, they're going to look at your social media channel, or they should be looking at your social media channel. I test. This is one of the questions I ask. What do you know about my business? What do you know about me? I put my shit out there on social media. If you're coming in, you're blind, you don't know nothing about me. You don't know how I work. You don't know like how I'm fired up like all the fucking time. Like, it's gonna be a problem, right? If you don't like that, if you don't want that. So I put my shit out there, and if people want to work with me, they are attracted to that, hopefully. And hopefully I'm attracting the right people. My marketing assistant's fantastic. Her and I butted heads when we first started. She was going to quit. I was going to fire her. We joke about it to this day. But here we are. She's still with me. She edits these videos. So yeah. So, if you want to hire, you have to think about like both aspects of it. Some of it's paid, some of it's time, right? Either way, it takes time and money to grow a business. And if you're a small business and you're looking to grow, hiring is one of the aspects that it's going to be really key to helping you get that financial freedom, that time freedom, and all the lovely things that you want from your business. You just got to put the fucking work in. So let me know if this video helped you. If you're thinking about hiring, like this video, subscribe, leave me a comment. I love these little comments. You can leave comments, you can have questions, you can give me some feedback. I'm totally open to that. But when you do that, that really helps to show my videos to other people. That helps me to know what else you're looking for, and if these kind of videos are helpful, because then that gives me guidance to create more of them for you. So let me know if you want to work with me personally. The links are below. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.